It was Daniel's mother who named it first, her voice sharp with disappointment disguised as concern. "What is the point of a marriage with no children?" she asked one afternoon, her eyes scanning Amina as though searching for a flaw that could be fixed if only it were identified. The question settled into the room like dust, impossible to sweep away. Amina smiled weakly, offering explanations she barely understood herself, speaking of time, of hope, of faith. But her words felt fragile against the weight of expectation pressing down on her from every direction. Soon, the question became a refrain, repeated at family gatherings, whispered in corners, spoken directly when patience wore thin. It followed her into every room, into every quiet moment, until it began to echo in her own thoughts. Daniel changed more quickly after that. The tenderness that had once defined his touch faded, replaced by irritation that surfaced over the smallest things. He began to withdraw from her, spending longer hours away from home, returning with a coldness that made the house feel unfamiliar. When he spoke, his words carried an edge that cut deeper than he seemed to realize, or perhaps deeper than he cared to acknowledge. "Other men have children," he said once, his voice laced with frustration. "What am I supposed to do with this?" He did not look at her when he said it, as though she were not a person, but a problem he could not solve. Amina felt something inside her shrink, a quiet part of her that had once believed she was enough simply for being herself. The years stretched forward, each one marked by the same cycle of hope and disappointment. Visits to doctors, whispered prayers, nights spent staring at the ceiling while Daniel slept with his back turned. Amina blamed herself because it was easier than questioning the narrative that had been built around her. She adjusted her diet, followed advice from relatives, endured remedies that ranged from uncomfortable to painful, all in the desperate hope that she might finally give Daniel what he seemed to value above all else. But nothing changed, and with each passing year, the weight of her perceived failure grew heavier, settling into her bones until it felt like a permanent part of her. What made her isolation more complete was the absence of any refuge beyond that house. Her parents had passed away years before, leaving behind memories that now felt like distant echoes of a time when she had been loved without condition. There were no siblings to turn to, no close friends she had maintained after leaving school, no one who could look at her and remind her of who she had once been. Daniel's world had become her world, and within it, she found herself shrinking, her identity dissolving into the role she could not fulfill.